Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to all my new subscribers and those that are just watching one of my videos for the first time. So we'll see how this vlog goes again. This is a kind of an update vlog because it's been a tough week, or 2 weeks I should say, since the last time I spoke to you guys. But hopefully there's some encouragement in it, and I just pray that God uses me in the ways that he needs to encourage those of you that are watching. Story goes, it took a long time, only God knows, but it's alright, but it's okay, because I'm here to encourage you. For those of you that saw my previous vlog, so you guys saw that I was saying about having problems and issues and just things going on with my family, and then kind of the encouragement that I left with that, but I don't want to spoil it, so if you haven't watched it, please do go and check it out. But basically this is kind of like a part 2 to it, which was not expected at all. I actually thought this week I would actually be doing a testimony continuation, but things work and God works in mysterious ways. So this is kind of like a part 2 to that. So as I said, if you haven't, please watch that first and then come back to this video. But for those of you that have remained, because you've watched it and you can remember, after the whole encouraging myself to kind of like pray through things with God, and encouraging you guys to do the same, my week actually started to go downhill. So I think I recorded the vlog 2 weeks ago on the Sunday, and then by the Tuesday when my vlog actually came out, things just really took a really bad turn. What I thought happened 2 weeks ago and that week that I was telling you guys about was nothing compared to what happened the week after, or the week of when my vlog came out, and then the week after that too, and even this week as I'm recording this vlog. And yeah, I don't know guys even how to start, how to even explain. But it's been a really hard 2 weeks, to the point that I don't even, well, a lot of the time I didn't even want to speak to God about it. Just struggling to do devotion, struggling to read my Bible during the day, just struggling to just be happy, if that makes sense. Struggling to just connect with people. I think I haven't been so good with keeping in touch with friends because I kind of don't want to bring the mood that I have, that kind of like almost depressed mood, to other people. But God definitely knows what he's doing in those situations, because the first thing that he did was that he allowed me to make a new friend, and that person has I don't know, made hard days much better. God has also been using older friends like Natalie, who, if you guys have not seen or do not know, she actually did a couple of vlogs. Actually, she's been in a couple of my vlogs, but been using Natalie just to be that kind of support as well, like praying together, and just encouraging one another. More so her encouraging me the last couple of weeks. And even though I've been going through this really like depressive state, and I've just been, as they say, in your feelings, I've really been in my feelings and in my own head. The sleep has gotten worse from when I recorded my vlog 2 weeks ago. The eating has gotten worse as well, to the point that if I do eat something now, I actually feel like I want to bring it back up, like I feel unwell with it. What else? This has been a lot. I think everything has been affecting me, and not just on a physical level, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally. And I just find myself upset. I find myself crying for no reason. And most of the time it's not even crying because of sadness. It's actually because of anger. And I think there's so much I want to disclose to you guys, but I think because it's a bit of a raw thing, and as I said in the previous vlog, it's stuff that is not so much to do with me. I don't want to disclose everything until it's appropriate to. I think that's the word I'm looking for. But as I said, God always kind of makes a way, and as I'm recording this, I think it's encouraging myself, because I've been focusing so much on the negatives that I haven't taken out the chance to really thank God for the positives that's been happening, because the way that family and friends have like kind of encompassed around myself and my family has been amazing, and I just really have to thank them for that. But also the second thing, and this has been happening more towards this side of the week, so we're just starting the week, but more this side of the week has actually been reading about other people in the Bible. I think sometimes what I like to do anyway, I will not speak for everyone, but what I like to do is kind of focus on like people doing the big bold kind of things in the Bible, and not really looking at when people are in their dumps, in their valley situations. And this week, I don't know, God has really been the times when I've mustered up the strength by God alone, to actually go and read and study properly, because I have been trying to do devotion every day, but it's been hard. So some days I'm like reading something and I don't even know what I've just read. But when I've kind of mustered up the strength to actually go deeper into study, God has been making like certain verses flag up for me. And then even the quarterly has just been, it's definitely God speaking to me in my situation at this moment. And kind of, I want to share a couple of verses. Usually I do one verse, but it's been a couple of verses that I've been focusing on. So one of them is actually taken from Matthew 27, and verse 46. And it says, and this is talking about when Jesus dies on the cross, so this kind of bit of this chapter. I would just read the bit that I want to kind of hone in on, because I said it's more than one verse. And he says, my God, why have you forsaken me? So that's the first one. I'll explain afterwards why I chose that one. Then the next verse that kind of popped up to me was taken from Psalm 22 verse 1, and it says, my God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from helping me and from the words of my groaning? And usually when I do verses, it usually sounds much more lighthearted than that, but these verses have been speaking to me a lot this week and the week before, because that's actually how I've been feeling. I told you guys about how important it is to pray, and I felt like things were starting to get better, like I explained in the vlog 2 weeks ago. So I was like, yes. And you know, there's that feeling when you're like, you feel like you're on top of the world because things seem to be being answered, prayers seem to be being answered, things are starting to go well, and then for it to kind of crash again, and crash even harder than it did 2 weeks ago, I actually had this question constantly in my mind, like, God, why? Not so much forsaken, I don't really speak that way, but in the same kind of area, like, God, like, what is going on? You're good, and I know you're good, but right now, Lord, like, the two are not matching up. You're good, but all of this is going on, and worse is happening now that I've started praying more. And it kind of offered me kind of comfort, and it sounds weird to say it this way, but it did. It offered me comfort that the fact that Jesus is the Son of God, he is God, for him to be at that point where he's like, God, why are you forsaking me? I didn't feel as bad about speaking to God in that way. I don't know if that makes sense, but I didn't feel that bad to be honest with God and be like, God, like, I don't know what you're doing right now, but I'm not happy about it. I'm not happy where I am. I'm not happy that you are a good God. You tell me you're a good God. I read that you're a good God, but bad things keep happening. And then I'm told to pray about it. I'm told to seek you, but it feels like the more I do, the worse the situation gets. Being able to be completely open and honest with God, and God kind of takes it. And not that he takes it like, okay, I'm going to rethink how about what I'm doing, because God's like, I can see what you can't see. And that leads me on to the next verse. So a bit more of encouragement, guys. But kind of, I guess, kind of I wouldn't say it's just one verse, it kind of is the whole of Job chapter 38. And it just is God revealing his himself to Job and explaining to Job that you do not always understand what's going on. So I'll start from verse 4. It says, "Where were you when I laid the foundations of the earth? Tell me if you have understanding. Who determined its measurements? Surely you know. Or who stretched the line upon it? To what were its foundations fastened? Or who laid its cornerstone? When the morning stars sang together and all the sons of God shouted for joy." And then it keeps going on, and God is just like, it just feels like a slap in the face to Job. That's the way I feel like it was. And when I was reading this for myself, I felt like kind of stupid, being like, well, God, what are you doing? Like, I can't see you working. And then just to remember that I can't always understand the way that God is working, because I cannot fully understand or comprehend what God is all about. I know God is good because he tells me so in his word. I know God is present because he tells me so. And there are some things that I'm not going to understand. But I think one thing that I'm trying to remember, because I do understand, not completely fully, I guess, but I'm trying to remind myself, is that it's not just God working, if that makes sense. Because like in the book of Job, and if you haven't read it, please do check it out. It's a very, very good book, and it gives some good insight. So I really like this book. But like in the book of Job, Job could only see what was going on and all the badness that kept happening. And even when he thought like the worst things that could happen to him, worse still happened. And I kind of went into this in my previous vlog as well. He could only see that. But us, as the people that are reading this and reading back on this account, we see that Satan was working in the background. And it made me start to think this week that yes, Chelsea, maybe the reason why things are starting to get worse is because Satan knows how powerful your prayers are. And he wants me to be in a position where I want to, as it says in the book of Job, curse God and die. And when I guess I'm kind of thinking about this even more now as I'm recording. And it actually makes me annoyed with myself that I would allow myself to get to that point where I'm not even recognizing that Satan is also working against me. That it's not God that's doing any of this evil to me. And though you guys can probably feel this way too, you're like, but God is in control. God can stop Satan from doing stuff. And which is something that I sometimes struggle with as well, especially when I'm in the midst of something. We also need to recognize that we do have free will. God never forces any of us in anything. So sometimes, or a lot of the time, bad things do happen, but God is still working in those bad times. And I guess the encouragement that I want to leave you guys with, as much as part one of this was prayer being important, and I do not go back on that. It's kind of encouragement for when prayer is hard, and when prayer doesn't seem to be getting anywhere. And that encouragement is that you don't have to feel alone in feeling this way. You don't have to feel alone in being completely honest with God. You shouldn't even feel bad about being completely honest with God, because guess what? God already knows exactly what you're thinking. He knows what you're feeling. So the fact that you try to hide from stuff from God, first of all, you're just lying to yourself. You're kidding yourself, because God already knows. And second of all, that actually affects your relationship with God. When you think about it as if you're thinking about a friend, for example, if you constantly keep hiding stuff from your friend, that kind of trust is broken when stuff starts to come out. And that actually speaks mountains with the situation that my family is going through at this moment. But lying never actually helps a relationship. And it's exactly the same, I should say, when it comes to God. So I guess what I want to encourage you guys, and I want to encourage myself with, is being completely honest with God. And that kind of links in with prayer, because we speak to God through prayer. But being completely honest with God, saying, God, no, I'm not happy with you, God. No, God, I'm not believing what you're saying, because you're saying you're good, but I don't see it. But then also being humble enough to listen when God is speaking to you. And maybe some people might feel a bit touchy about that, and I know if someone said that to me, I'd be like, okay, and what? Kind of. But I can have an attitude problem sometimes. So yeah, if like me you do, and you don't like to be, I guess, told something that you know is true, you can kind of have that attitude problem. But honestly and completely, because I am still going through it now, I can be completely honest with you guys. It feels horrible, and sometimes you don't want to listen to God's response, because like Job, he never actually got an answer to his question, but instead God showed him himself and showed Job that there is so much more going on than what you can see. There is so much more than what human eyes can see. And even people that are outside your situation and circumstance, they may see more than what you can see, but they can never see as much as God can. Even if you cannot physically say it with words, let it ring out through your tears, through the pain, the ache, the heaviness of your heart. And by the grace of God, things will start to look up. Not necessarily because the situation might change. And as I said this in my vlog 2 weeks ago. Not necessarily because of that, but just because we start to recognize God in it all. We start to see God in it all, and that relationship with God gets stronger, becomes better because of the honesty, and that putting our hands up and saying, God, you know what? I am upset, and I want you to do something about it. But yeah, I think I'll leave it there because even myself, when I'm speaking, it's making me think about a lot of things. And after this, I need to go and pray because my heart feels heavy, because I'm encouraging you guys to do this, and I want to do the same. I want my relationship to be good with God, and I pray that you guys do too. So yes, as I said, I will leave it there. Who knows what the next vlog will bring. Hopefully it will be good news. I won't have to do a part 3. But if not, you know what, I'll just let God work, because God is working. And as I said, I am still seeing blessings even in the midst of this really difficult time at this moment. So I pray that you will be able to too in your situations and circumstances. But I will see you guys by the grace of God in 2 weeks time, and I will keep praying for you, and I pray that you will keep praying for me too and my family. But I'll see you guys in 2 weeks time.